What do you see with a little helicopter toy? Or a kite? What about a bike? Can you make something out of them? What if you add a bird to the mix? Wilbur and Orville Wright learned from everything, played with everything, talked through different ideas together, built things together, even flew together. I've researched David McCullough's book, The Wright Brothers, and visited the Memorial Center in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, where they constructed and flew the world's first flying machine, what we now call the airplane. With support of friends and family, Wilbur and Orville gained inspiration from knowledge and life's experiences that helped navigate them on their journey to create the first aircraft in history. Despite never graduating high school, both boys loved to read books and to tinker with things. A few influential things and events happened in the brothers' lives that would lead them to designing their plane. When they were children, their dad gave them a simple helicopter toy, and it was much like this one, but had a rubber band on the end that would help launch it in the air. And they would launch it over and over again as the propellers would spin. They opened a bike shop in their 20s where they sold and repaired bikes. They even designed 2 bikes of their own. In 1896, Orville came down with typhoid fever. It was then that he started reading about gliders. Many people were trying to design their own glider and flying machine, but they didn't have any luck. Wilbur and Orville were fascinated. They studied as much as they could about flight. They even studied the flight of different birds. In 1899, Wilbur wrote to the Smithsonian asking for information on other designs and their failures so they could successfully design and fly their own aircraft. They wrote to the U.S. Weather Bureau in Washington asking for information on where would be the best place to design and fly their own aircraft. They were told the Outer Banks in North Carolina had good wind and good sand. So in 1900, they settled near Kitty Hawk in the Outer Banks. They knew before they could put a motor on anything, they had to successfully fly in the glider. They thought a problem of their predecessors was that it had no equilibrium, like on a bike. So they designed their glider with an equilibrium in mind. Despite fixing the problem of the equilibrium, they had problem after problem. They kept a journal every day with their ideas, their problems, failures, crashes, small successes. After thinking about how birds move through the air, they changed their wings to be more flexible, to twist, and to warp. Despite all the changes that they made, they had no success. In being in an inhospitable environment, they were done. In 1901, they went home, ready to give up. Catherine, their sister, gave them encouragement while they worked on smaller models and a handmade wind tunnel they made. Wilbur gave a speech to a group of engineers for the first time they introduced their model. And it wasn't until they talked to these group of experts that they realized their ideas and their models far surpassed others in their field. So rejuvenated in 1902, they went back to Kitty Hawk with a new design. Unfortunately, it just went around in circles. One night, Orville had an idea to put a tail or a rudder on the end of the glider to move with the wings. The new design worked. It broke a record of going 30 seconds and 600 feet. They knew now that it would work with a motor on it. The Wright brothers went back to Ohio to build a motor in their bike shop. They built a 12-horsepower motor, and then once it was built, they transported it back to Kitty Hawk. December 14, 1903, the plane is ready. They flip a coin to see who flies first. Wilbur won. So he gets on and then takes off. He pulls up too much and it overcrafts, taking a nosedive into the sand. Fail. They make the repairs. December 17, 1903. It's Orville's turn. He gets on once the engine warms up a bit. And slowly the flying machine takes off. Once it leaves the track, it's airborne for 12 seconds, 120 feet. They do a few runs that day. The last run is 852 feet. It goes for 59 seconds. It's finally success. They do it. It took them 4 years to build that plane. With Orville and Wilbur's inquisitive nature, dedication, and perseverance, they are successfully able to construct and build their aircraft. They did it. Whether it be a bike or a bird, as long as you learn and work hard and dream, you can successfully build anything and do anything you want, just like the Wright brothers.